Hello everyone, my name is Molly McKinney. I'm a lab manager and research assistant supervised by Andrew Lieber in the Cognitive Control Lab at The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for stopping by our virtual poster on how monetary reward motivates the adoption of optimal attentional control strategies. Let's imagine we were still able to attend VSS at St. Pete Beach in Florida. It's 5 a.m. the morning after Club Vision, and before you can go take a quick snooze before the 8 a.m. poster session starts, you first have to find the beach chair on which you left your things. There are many strategies you could use to find the beach chair. Perhaps there's a large subset of blue chairs, but only a small subset of yellow towels. Jess Irons and Andrew Lieber wondered how people choose their strategies and designed the Adaptive Choice Visual Search Task, or ACVS, to determine the strategies individuals use. In ACVS, there are 2 targets on every trial, one red and one blue square with the numbers 2, 3, 4, or 5, while green squares and squares with 6 through 9 are always distractors. Participants are free to choose, red or blue, which target for which they would like to search, and the optimal strategy is to search through the smaller subset. Irons and Lieber found vast individual differences in visual search strategy among participants. Many of those strategies were suboptimal. So while searching for your things on a crowded beach, searching among a large subset of blue chairs, for example, would be an inefficient way to search for your things, while searching among a small subset of yellow towels would yield the result of finding your things faster. Irons and Lieber also found evidence for a trade-off between minimizing effort and maximizing performance. If the most efficient strategy is also cognitively effortful, some will choose a less optimal strategy in order to reduce the cognitive demand required to control their attention. Now, if you're really presenting your poster in a few hours, how would that motivate the efficiency in your choice, or your choice in exerting effort to find your things on a vast and crowded beach? In previous versions of ACVS done in our lab, participants completed 2 phases of the 2016 version of the Adaptive Choice Visual Search Task. A performance contingent reward group made significantly more optimal choices during the feedback phase than their random reward counterparts. However, subsequent experiments yielded smaller effect sizes. We wanted to determine, once and for all, whether reward has an effect on optimal choices. Using Amazon Mechanical Turk, we designed a high-powered, large sample size experiment. There were 2 phases to the experiment: a baseline phase, where both groups saw the standard experiment, and a phase in which both groups received feedback. Before the feedback phase, participants were informed that points 1 through 5 will be assigned for each correct trial. The performance contingent reward group received points based on how quickly they responded, while the random reward group's points were selected randomly. In reality, the random points were selected from a probability distribution that matched the point values of the performance contingent reward group, so that all subjects' rewards were standardized. In experiment 1, we found that mTurkers showed very different behavior than our in-lab subjects, where a majority of subjects in both groups were classifiable as random searchers, meaning that most participants' optimal choices were chance level. With these results, it's impossible to determine the motivation of the participants. To address this issue, we referred to other studies done in our lab by Hansen, Irons, and Lieber, who determined that when participants were given explicit instruction of the optimal strategy, as well as a preview of the display squares before the numbers appear, participants increase their proportion of optimal choices. In order to isolate the influence of motivation, in Experiment 2, we provided these tools to mTurkers to allow them a greater opportunity to take advantage of the optimal strategy if they wanted to. The results of Experiment 2 showed a significant increase in optimal choices for the performance contingent reward group, resulting in faster performance in the feedback phase than in the baseline phase, while the random reward group did not show this increase in optimal behavior. Participants who were informed that they were receiving a random reward were unmotivated to adopt and utilize the optimal strategy throughout the experiment, choosing instead to maintain a random, effort-minimizing search strategy, while the performance contingent reward group were motivated to maximize their performance and utilize the fastest strategy in order to improve the reward amount. Across blocks, you can see the performance contingent reward group took advantage of the benefits of the optimal strategy more and more over time. In experiments 1 and 2, we noticed a non-significant and unexplained difference in the baseline conditions. In both experiments, mTurkers show an overall lower proportion of optimal choices than our in-lab participants, despite similar accuracy levels. It appears that M-Turker's behavior is directed by the instruction provided by the experimenter, but while both groups could have improved their performance by utilizing the optimal strategy, participants who are rewarded for their performance are faster on the adaptive choice visual search task than participants who are not rewarded contingent on their performance. While it is clear that motivation may bypass the influence of cognitive demand on strategy choice, future studies will continue to probe the influence of cognitive demand on the use of optimal strategy. I would like to thank the virtual VSS organizers, NSF for funding our project, everyone in the lab for their tireless support, and Kevin Lewis for his dedicated and expert programming abilities. Additionally, I would like to thank Andy for the academic and research support during this difficult time in history, and for supporting me while I dedicate as much time as I can to help fight racism in this country. I hope you all are well, and thank you so much for your time.